What if I told you your yard, yes, your yard, could look this gorgeous without spending thousands of dollars or hiring a single professional? I'm talking color. I'm talking structure. I'm talking the kind of garden that makes your neighbors stop their car just to stare. Today on Daily Garden Fix, we're diving into 10 genius DIY garden and flower bed ideas that are going to completely transform your outdoor space. And I promise you, by the time we hit number 5, you're going to be running to your backyard with a shovel. So don't go anywhere, because we are just getting started. Welcome back to Daily Garden Fix. And if you are brand new here, welcome to the family. This channel is all about making your outdoor space something you are genuinely proud of without breaking the bank. Now, before we jump in, I need you to do one thing for me. Hit that like button right now, not at the end. Right now. Because the ideas I'm about to share with you took me weeks to research, test, and put together. And if even one of these transforms your yard, you're going to wish you'd liked this video sooner. Go ahead. I'll wait. Good. Now let's get into it. Idea 1. The raised flower bed. Idea number 1, and this one is the foundation of a beautiful yard, is the raised flower bed. Now hear me out before you say, I've seen this before. Because most people build raised beds wrong. They make them too deep, too wide, and too random. And then they wonder why their flowers look scattered and sad. Here's the secret. Shape and proportion matter more than size. You want your raised bed to be no wider than 4 feet. That's the magic number. So you can reach the center from either side without stepping in and compacting the soil. Height-wise, at least 10 to 12 inches. This gives roots room to breathe and actually thrive. For materials, you can use cedar wood. It's rot-resistant and looks absolutely stunning. Or if you want something even more budget-friendly, concrete blocks work beautifully and give a more structured, modern look. Now here's what most people skip, and this is where the magic happens. You're going to layer your soil. Bottom layer, rough compost or wood chips for drainage. Middle, a mix of garden soil and peat moss. Top layer, premium potting mix. This 3-layer method feeds your plants from the roots up, and your flowers will grow fuller, faster, and healthier than anything in a flat ground bed. Plant your tallest flowers at the back. Think delphiniums or snapdragons. Medium height in the middle. Ground-hugging beauties like alyssum or lobelia at the front edge. Instant structure, instant drama, instant gorgeous. Cost estimate as low as $30 to $80 depending on your materials. That's it. Idea 2. The curved border bed. Idea number 2 is one of my absolute favorites, and it's something that instantly makes your yard look professionally designed. We're talking about the curved border flower bed. Here's something landscape designers know that most homeowners don't. Straight lines feel rigid. Curves feel alive. When you add a gently curving flower bed along your fence line, your walkway, or the edge of your lawn, something magical happens. The eye starts to flow. The yard feels bigger. It feels intentional. It feels expensive, even when it's not. So how do you do it? Grab a garden hose. Yes, a regular hose. Lay it on the ground and bend it into the shape you want. Walk back. Look at it from a distance. Adjust. Once you love the curve, spray paint along the edge of the hose to mark your line. Then edge along that line with a spade. Now fill your border bed with plants in drifts. Not individual plants dotted around, but groups of 3, 5, or 7 of the same plant flowing together. Odd numbers always look more natural than even numbers. That's the designer's trick right there. Great plants for border beds? Lavender, catmint, black-eyed Susans, salvia, and ornamental grasses. Mix textures, mix heights, and make sure something is blooming in every season. That way your border never looks bare. You're looking at maybe $40 to $100 for a full border bed. And the impact? Priceless. Idea 3. The rock and flower. Combination. Bed. Okay, idea number 3. And I need you to really look at this because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. This is the rock and flower combination bed, and it is one of the most dramatic, low-maintenance yard transformations you can make. Here's why this works so beautifully. Rocks add permanent structure. They don't die in winter. They don't need watering. They just sit there looking stunning all year long. And when you tuck bright, cheerful flowers between them, the contrast is absolutely breathtaking. You don't need to buy expensive landscaping rocks either. I check your local Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. People are literally giving away rocks for free because they dug them out of their own yards. I'm serious. Go look right now. Here's how to lay it out. Start with your largest rocks as anchors. Place them slightly buried, at least a third of each rock below the soil line. This makes them look natural, not just dropped there. Then arrange medium rocks around them and use small pebbles to fill gaps. For plants, you want drought-tolerant, sun-loving varieties that love to sprawl. Creeping thyme is incredible between rocks. It smells amazing and blooms with tiny purple flowers. Sedums, ice plants, creeping phlox, and hens and chicks are all perfect. The result looks like you hired a professional landscape architect, but you did it yourself for next to nothing. Budget. Free to $60 depending on whether you source rocks locally. Idea 4. The Moonlight Garden. Now this next idea number 4, is one that most people have never even heard of, and I think it might be the most romantic thing you can do with your yard. Are you ready? We're building a moonlight garden. The concept is simple but absolutely stunning. You plant exclusively white and pale yellow flowers, varieties that literally glow when the sun goes down and the moon comes out. Imagine sitting on your porch in the evening and your garden is just softly luminous, magical, ethereal. White flowers that work beautifully. White roses. Moonflowers, which are actually a climbing vine that opens at dusk. White phlox, white cone flowers, and white petunias. For a soft glow effect, add silver-leafed plants like Dusty Miller or Lamb's Ear. These reflect every bit of available light. Arrange your moonlight garden where you can see it from a seating area or window. Edge it with a simple border. White painted rocks work perfectly here and keep the theme consistent. This is also a fantastic sensory garden because many white flowers are intensely fragrant at night. Jasmine, white roses, moonflowers. Your garden won't just look beautiful. It will smell incredible after dark. Your neighbors are going to ask you what you did, and you're going to smile and say nothing. You're welcome. Idea 5. Upcycled container. Garden clusters. Idea number 5. And this is where things get really fun. We're talking about upcycled container garden clusters. Here's what I love about this idea. It costs almost nothing. It can go anywhere. Patio, driveway, porch steps, side yard, and it gives you total flexibility. Don't like how it looks? Move it. Want to change the flowers? Swap them out. Container gardening is the most forgiving form of gardening there is. Now, what containers should you use? Anything with drainage and character. Old wooden wine crates, galvanized metal tubs, cracked terracotta pots, vintage wheelbarrows, worn-out rubber boots. I've seen someone use an old bathtub as a flower bed, and it was stunning. Drill drainage holes if there aren't any. Add a layer of gravel at the bottom. Fill with quality potting mix, not garden soil, which compacts in containers. Then plant in a thriller, filler, spiller formula. One tall, dramatic plant in the center, fluffy, fuller plants around it, and trailing plants that spill over the edges. The real genius is in the grouping. Don't place containers individually. Cluster them in groups of 3 or 5 at different heights. Use a stack of bricks or an overturned pot to create levels. The layered effect creates this incredibly rich, abundant look. You can build a stunning container cluster for $20 to $50, and the visual impact is enormous. Okay, real talk. We are halfway through and I have not even gotten to the ideas that made my jaw drop when I first saw them. So before we go further, drop a comment below right now. Tell me, which idea so far is your favorite? Is it the Moonlight Garden, the rock bed, the container clusters? I read every single comment on this channel, everyone. So talk to me. And make sure you're subscribed because what's coming next, especially idea number 8, is going to blow your mind. Let's keep going. Idea 6, the cottage garden bed. Idea number 6 is for anyone who has ever driven past an old English cottage and thought, I want that. I want that wild, lush, overflowing, romantic garden. Well, you can have it. And it's called the cottage garden bed. The cottage garden style looks effortless and wild, but there's actually a method to the beautiful madness. The key is controlled abundance. You plant densely, so densely that weeds can barely get through. And you mix plants of different heights, textures, and bloom times together so something is always putting on a show. Plants that define the cottage look: foxgloves, hollyhocks, climbing roses, cosmos, delphiniums, sweet peas, and peonies. Throw in some herbs like lavender and rosemary for fragrance and texture. Show planting layout from above. You want your taller plants, hollyhocks, delphiniums, at the back against a fence or wall. Let climbing roses scramble up a simple arch or trellis. Mid-height plants fill the middle. And at the very front, let low-growing things like alyssum or hardy geraniums spill softly onto your path. The secret sauce of the cottage garden? Let it self-seed. Don't deadhead everything. Let some flowers drop their seeds and come back next year on their own. Over time, your cottage garden actually gets more beautiful with less work. It literally grows itself. Heavenly, romantic, and completely achievable for $50 to $100. Idea number 7, the fire pit flower ring. Idea number 7 is one that combines two of the greatest things in any yard: a fire pit and flowers. I'm talking about the fire pit flower ring. Here's the concept. Instead of your fire pit just sitting on bare ground or surrounded by plain mulch, you create a stunning circular flower bed around it. It frames the fire pit. It makes it look intentional. It makes your whole outdoor entertaining area look like a resort. Now, plants near a fire pit need to be smart choices. You want low-growing, non-flammable varieties that stay below the heat and don't produce lots of dry material. Ornamental grasses, sedums, lavender, and low-growing salvia are perfect. Keep the planted ring at least 3 to 4 feet from the pit itself. Show diagram-style overhead view of the layout. Create the ring by marking your circle with spray paint. Use a stake in the center of the pit and a string to draw a perfect circle. Edge it cleanly. Fill it with a mix of ornamental grass and low perennials in a repeating pattern so the ring looks balanced from every angle. Add solar lights tucked into the plants. At night, with the fire going and the lights glowing in the flowers, your yard becomes an absolute paradise. This is the transformation that will make people think you spent thousands. The actual cost? Maybe $60 to $120. Idea number 8, the layered shade. Idea number 8, and I told you this one was coming, is one of the most underrated garden ideas I have ever seen. It's the layered shade garden. And it solves a problem that millions of people have. Those bare, patchy, ugly areas under trees where nothing seems to grow. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That dark patch under your oak tree where grass gave up years ago. In that shady corner that looks sad no matter what you do. Here's the truth. Shady spots aren't a problem. They're an opportunity. Because shade gardens, when done right, are lush, rich, moody, and absolutely beautiful. Show the layering technique visually. The key is layering. At the canopy level, you already have your tree. That's your top layer. Below that, add mid-sized shade-loving shrubs like hydrangeas or azaleas. Below that, hostas, which are the undisputed kings of shade gardening, in different sizes and colors. And at ground level, add ferns, impatiens, or creeping jenny to carpet the floor. Add a simple stepping stone path winding through it. Scatter a few smooth river rocks. Tuck in some solar-powered fairy lights along the path. What was once a dead zone is now the most enchanting corner of your entire yard. Yeah, people will walk back there on purpose, just to be in it. The Shade Garden, $40 to $90. The feeling it creates. Absolutely priceless. Idea number 9. The color block flower bed. Idea number 9 is for my bold, fearless gardeners, the ones who want their yard to make a statement. This is the color block flower bed, and it is dramatic, modern, and absolutely striking. Instead of mixing flowers randomly, you plant in bold blocks of single colors, like a painting. A solid block of deep purple salvia. Next to it, a block of bright yellow marigolds. Next to that, fiery red geraniums. The effect is graphic, intentional, and looks incredibly high design. Color blocking works especially well in rectangular raised beds, along driveways, or in formal front yard settings. Yet the sharp contrast between blocks creates a visual punch that you can see from the street. For maximum impact, work with color theory. Purple and yellow are complementary colors. They make each other pop. Red and white create a bold, classic contrast. Pink and deep burgundy together look incredibly sophisticated. Here's a pro tip. Use a single plant species per block. All marigolds in one section, all salvia in another. This gives you that clean, graphic edge that makes the color blocking really land. If you mix species within a block, the edges blur and you lose the effect. Plant in an odd-numbered grid within each block, 3 plants wide, 5 rows deep, for example. This gives you that full, dense look quickly. This is modern garden design at its most accessible. Budget around $50 to $80, and your yard will look like it belongs on the cover of a magazine. Idea 10. The Living Garden Pathway. And here we are. Idea number 10. The grand finale. And I saved one of the most beautiful ideas for last, the Living Garden Pathway. This is the idea that ties your entire yard together. Because a pathway isn't just about getting from point A to point B. A pathway is an experience. And when you line it, or fill it, with living plants, it becomes one of the most memorable features of any garden. Here's how it works. Lay your stepping stones. Flagstone, slate, or poured concrete pavers all work beautifully. Space them about 18 inches apart. A natural walking stride. Now here's the magic. In the gaps between the stones and along both edges of the path, you plant low-growing flowering plants that can handle occasional foot traffic. Our creeping thyme is the #1 choice. It releases a gorgeous herbal fragrance every time you step on it. Creeping phlox bursts into a carpet of color in spring. Woolly thyme, blue star creeper, and chamomile also work beautifully between stones. Along the edges of the path, plant slightly taller things, lavender, ornamental grasses, or catmint, so the path feels like it's being gently embraced by the garden on both sides. At the end of the path, create a destination. A bench, a bird bath, a focal point tree in a beautiful container. Give people a reason to walk the path, and a reason to stay. When the evening light hits a living pathway, the textures, the colors, the soft edges of the plants, it is one of the most beautiful things you will ever see in a garden, and it's yours. You built it. You budget $60 to $150 depending on path length. Worth every single penny. Okay, you got all 10. But I'm not done with you yet. Because I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't give you 3 bonus tips that will take every single one of these ideas from good to absolutely spectacular. Bonus tip 1. Mulch is your best friend. After planting any flower bed, lay 2 to 3 inches of mulch over the soil. It locks in moisture, blocks weeds, and makes your bed look instantly finished and polished. Dark brown mulch makes flower colors pop like crazy. Bonus. Tip 2. Group plants in 3s and 5s. I mentioned this earlier, but I need to say it again because it is that important. Odd-numbered groupings always look more natural and intentional than pairs or 4s. This one tip will make your planting look professional immediately. Bonus. Tip 3. Edge everything. A clean edge between your flower bed and your lawn is the difference between a beautiful garden and a stunning garden. Use a half-moon edger or a simple spade to cut a crisp line. It takes 10 minutes and it transforms the entire look. Do these 3 things and every idea in today's video will look 10 times better. I promise you that. So there you have it. 10 genius DIY garden and flower bed ideas to completely transform your yard. Plus 3 bonus tips that the pros use every single day. Now here's what I want you to do right now. And I mean right now, before you click away. Pick one idea from today's video. Just one. Write it down, circle it, screenshot the timestamp. Because the biggest mistake most gardeners make is watching a video like this and thinking, I'll do that someday. Someday is not a day of the week. Today is the day you start planning your most beautiful yard ever. And I want to hear which idea you're starting with. Drop it in the comments. Tell me, are you building the raised bed? The Moonlight Garden? The fire pit flower ring? Tell me and I will personally reply. If you are new to Daily Garden Fix, welcome. Genuinely. This community is full of people just like you who are turning ordinary yards into extraordinary spaces, one shovel at a time. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I post new ideas every single week. And you do not want to miss what I have coming next. If this video helped you today, please share it with one friend who has been staring at their boring yard wondering what to do. Because this video might be exactly what they need. I'll see you in the next one. Happy gardening. And remember, your yard is a canvas, and you are the artist.